Hi, Julian. Hey. Hi. Gonna get started here. I've got a new drawing tool. We're gonna see how this goes. I can draw stuff with it. But we'll see how it works out. Alright, so let's get it started here. First thing I notice is there is no audio. Turn my earphone up to make sure. Yep, I got no audio. Let's see what we got here. Beginning of the game. Alright, here's the beginning of the game. So I kind of know what the audio is gonna be like, although it'd be nice to have it just so that I know, like, when things were getting called out and whatever. System volume. Alright, no biggie. Alright, so we're getting everything set up here. Gonna destroy all the stuff. And here we go. Alright. So, moving along. I should stop right here. So you're going to be playing Junkrat, and you've been playing a lot of Junkrat, and I know that Dylan said this to you, so one of the things I'm going to be looking for is how focused on an area denial you are. Junkrat's biggest thing is that he can deny a small area, and in that small area, he is king. So, like right here, if you're spamming into the same general area in the choke, I'm going to be very happy. You want to stay tight and out of sight and deny a specific spot to the enemy. You're in space denial mode. Theoretically, whatever walks into the general area where all your grenades are is going to die. So we're going to try to keep them in the same concentrated area. Good. Staying behind the Rhine shield, firing at the enemy Rhine shield. Right here is an area that you don't really need to be in. So, oh, this is kind of grainy, but that's okay. So as you come up in here, you're behind this Rhine shield, which is good. And you want to, follow this Rhine shield, which is up here. Fantastic. And then what's going to happen here is you are going to walk up and forward, and right about here, I want to show you something. So you see this area over here? This whole big area by truck? This is not a place that you want to be in. So you've got to, we happen to not realize, we didn't know this at the time, but generally assume that somebody's going to be up on top of this high ground being able to contest. If this was a Widow or a Hanzo up here, you'd probably be dead immediately. The Reinhardt shield is over here. Or the better option is use this natural cover over here. If you're in this natural cover over here, you can fire grenades into the enemy Reinhardt still. And they'll kind of, you can get them to either bounce off here, or bounce off the ceiling, or just bowl them straight on through and see what you can hit. But you can do it all from the safety of this cover. Second plan is to follow your Reinhardt over here and then go off to the right side and bounce grenades off of truck. But that's not particularly great. That's not nearly as good. But just coming over here and like hanging out here for a second is not too great. So we dodged Junkrat bombs, which is good. And you turned around to face the Sombra. Good. Junkrat's actually pretty good against Sombra because she can very easily accidentally run up into your grenades. So right there is the first time I saw you use your concussion mine, and there's nobody here. Oh, You're not really throwing it into anybody. And you've got this diva up here bullying you. So you go to tuck back, which is great, but you've already gone in front of your tanks. And you want to stay behind them as often as possible. So right here, when you turn around to go get the Sombra, that's great. Before charging back into the choke, look and see what your tanks are doing. At this point, Sanchez has said that he is losing shield and he's going to have to pull back. So you standing in this choke and firing grenades into what is basically an empty backfield is doing nothing. Move on up here, and you almost died. You went down to a good 10-15 health because you got caught out by a random Junkrat grenade. But now you're in this safe zone, so let's see if you stay here. Firing, you're bouncing off of the truck, which is a great move, especially into that Reinhardt shield. And look where your Reinhardt shield is again. Right here. So it's kind of a little counterintuitive, but you basically want to stay where you're not going to get picked off. So you can stay over in this area over here. If you stay over in this area over here, you can still lob grenades in up and against the truck. You can actually lob them over and into this window up here. Those are two really good options for you. Or you can move, take a long crossing route and go back over to this area behind this natural cover where you can then spam grenades in this way. But this is area number one. Not only do you have all this natural cover here, but you've got your Reinhardt barrier here, and you can follow him when he eventually does go around this way. Almost got punished for it again. Got real lucky. The concussive blasts are okay. You were trying to put it up and over the Reinhardt shield, which is generally a good move. If you can put a concussive blast up and over the Reinhardt shield, like... I'm still getting used to these controls, hold on. Right here, you're throwing it, which is great, but if you can aim that up and go over... what the heck is that? Up and go over, you can knock this Reinhardt way out of position, which is a big move. But as it is, you're just putting damage in, that's good. Moving in with your team, very good. I like that you're controlling the aggression here. And you got rip-tired. Unluckers. That was a big rip-tire, and not a big deal. Moving in for the next attack. Generally, you're doing okay. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're spamming damage into the choke, which is good. Good use of concussive blasts to get this high ground advantage. You see how... I want you to just take a look at this here, because this is a fantastic Junkrat position. So here's the window that the enemy can shoot at you from, and most of it is obscured by this truck. So really, it's this area that's not covered up in pink, called the green zone right here. This is the only place that they can fire at you from. Meanwhile, you are just throwing grenades in here, and they're just bouncing around and bouncing around and bouncing around and bouncing around and filling up this area and destroying their Reinhardt shield. And they really can't get to you. The only way that they can get to you is to jump down onto this low ground where the rest of our team is, in front of their Reinhardt shield, which their Reinhardt's up there. And that's the only way they can really get to you. So this kind of a position is really, really strong, because they have no angles of attack on you, and you can just absolutely plow into that Reinhardt shield that's sitting over there. So, what you got? You stuck on here for a while. I think I call for your tire here when we finally realize where the Junkrat and Hanzo pressure are coming from. Yep, this is definitely where I call for your tire. And you're saying, give me a place to put it, give me a place to put it. It's very good teamwork there. I love that you're staying on this high ground position for so long. I know you're dropping here to unleash your rip-tire, but you don't have to. You could stay up there for your rip-tire because of how little line of sight that you get. Alright, here's something right here. So you come down, whatever, put your Riptire on. I would still have thrown your Riptire from up there. Now here we have two options. We know that this is our target zone up here. We're going to try to get this high ground on this middle thing. We know that Reinhardt is over here and Diva is back here somewhere. Actually, this might be the Diva up here. We know that this whole area in pink here is covered because the truck only goes so far back. These guys can fire down, these guys can fire over, these guys can fire over. So we can go through this main area here. We can go straight up main, or we have this ultimate has plenty of time. We can loop around through this left room, go out the middle, jump up and over the building, and get somebody. You had enough time to do that. And if you launch from the building, then the travel time to get to here, where you're at right now, is next to none. So this is, if you fire a Junkrat tire straight up the middle, even at our skill tier in our league, it's going to get destroyed. It just, most of the time, is just going to get blown up. So the goal is to get it far enough without attracting attention. Now, you also have the option of going through this room over here. If you go through this room over here, you can come out, have sort of partial cover from the forklift. You can climb. You can climb up and over the forklift, or you can go up this high ground out these windows. And usually when you go out the windows, you can kill all the people that are stationed in this area between the building and the wall and the truck. There's that little open area back there. You can drop your tire from the window straight into that open area. But we go straight up main, and sure enough, that Diva dropped down over here and got us right away. Tire gets destroyed by pretty lucky Junkrat grenade, but regardless. Going into this room is really good. So if you notice when you were in this room over here on the left, you were kind of by yourself, but as weird as it is, this is actually a pretty okay position for you to be in, because you can fire straight at this truck and bounce grenades off and clear out this area, and then circle back and around to mid up here and just keep firing grenades that way onto the point. I think we called for a general retreat maybe, so this is good of you, but they see you here. Very good aggression, good aggression. But right there, you had a choice. So you see Sanchez go in with this charge here, and you know he's nailing this this enemy Reinhardt. You can fire grenades at the Reinhardt and kill the Reinhardt and secure that kill, or you can take a less advantageous fight to a Junkrat that's on the high ground. The Junkrat was putting a lot of damage into us, so it's a difficult choice to make, but you're so disadvantaged in the one-on-one, especially when you're on the low ground and he is not, that firing extra grenades into the Reinhardt would have been absolutely great. So you can see up here in the kill feed, if you're watching the kill feed, that Reinhardt hasn't died yet. Oh. In fact, their Reinhardt pulled off a giant Earth Shatter on our Reinhardt, charged him, and that Earth Shatter won the fight. Now, if at this point in the fight you had decided to help kill off this Reinhardt while Sanchez was charging in there, we might have actually still won that fight. Not that it's all on you, like you're not causing us to lose the fight, but that's an example of you had two options. You could take an advantageous fight here or a disadvantageous fight up here, and you chose the disadvantageous fight. And it didn't work out in our favor. Good try on the concussive grenade, or concussive blast. That would have been a good place to put one. And that's actually a great place to put a concussive blast if you're trying to bounce the Reinhardt off of his path, off of his charge path. That would have been good. It ended up not working out. That ended up not being how it worked out. But it's a good instinct. It's really good if you can bounce the Reinhardt off of their path before they make contact with one of your teammates. You've basically killed that Reinhardt. See, this is great. Shooting up through this window is fantastic, and I love that you're doing it. And you stick here for a little while, firing. Yep, behind the Reinhardt shield. Great. Great. This is good. This is exactly what you need to be doing as Junkrat. This is great play right here. This is great play, great aggression. Good move in, good move in. Good job with the grenades. Good move in, good move in. You see the hack, you're going after it, you're going after it. Oh, unluckers. Unluckers. So, at this point, if there was audio, I didn't know that the Diva Bomb went off, because there's no audio, but you can see the Diva pops out, but up here there's no Diva out of mech thing, which is a lot of information to put together, but you can just listen for the voice line. And that bomb, and then we've got, yep, you've got your little warning sign here. At this point, your primary goal should have been to get in behind that wall, but it's all right. There was really good fighting right up until that point, and sometimes it's just hard to fight through a Diva Bomb. Like it's just hard to adjust when a Diva Bomb gets thrown out. But it's really good aggression following up Sanchez at the beginning of that fight, and really pouring damage straight down their gullets was good. It was good decision making. All right, so this fight is basically captured. It's really good instinct of you to just start throwing some grenades after you saw the fire strike. That could have meant that the Reinhardt was coming up, and you would have been giving us a big advantage going into this fight. So here we're going to point B. The things that I'm looking for as we go into point B are how are you doing at maintaining power here or over here. And I know that you don't go over here. This is actually a worse position for you, so I'm glad that you don't. But for example, this pillar here is great. So we have this pillar and this platform. And if you can stay around this pillar and fire from both directions and just pour some damage down in, it's going to be great. That's what you want to be doing here on Volskaya. Junkrat on attack is not the best here. Actually, this isn't a terrible method of attack either, because either way you're basically throwing random grenades in, and this forces them to be a little bit more aggressive. Also, noticing that your ultimate's at 93%. This is good, keeping an eye down there, sort of a random grenade to throw. Oh, dropping down here was not a good move. I think that maybe that was an accident, and you saw that because you went right back up. Great job pouring damage into that Diva. Fantastic. And using the concussion mine to blow up Mini Diva was great. You've got a Riptire here. One thing I'm noticing is that right now you've got Riptire, and what you're not doing that I would do is pushing Tab. So Tab would tell you which characters have their ultimates in addition to you to see if there's somebody that you can counter with. Now, in organized play, you've got me, who's going to be basically calling for the combos and stuff. But when you get Tire, you just say, I've got Tire, what do we want to do with it? And you may have here, like I said, without the audio, it's kind of difficult to know. But a Tire combo here could lead to a team wipe if it's placed right. And you're in a really great position to do it too, because you can send the Tire over this platform and down. Oop, hello. You can send the tire over this platform and then down onto the point. And there's a Reinhardt here. I think there's 1 or 2 squishies tucked away in here. And you can probably get a 3-man right here if you were to just fire it and drop it down that way. But you don't do that, which is fine because we didn't call for it. Organized play, you know, if this were ladder, I would have said, okay, you should have thrown it there. And sure enough, there was actually 4 people that you probably would have gotten in that. But oh well, not a big deal. I like the patience here. You're waiting for your moment. Good job walking away from that fire strike. Good job staying in cover. Actually, I do want to point that out. So this position that you're in over here is great for you. You have 1. That one sort of counts. 2 and 3 gigantic pieces of natural cover. And when you tuck back into about this area, the area to see you is only about this wide. But your grenades going through that area make a huge impact. So it's very good staying in this little pocket here. Look at this. Look at this tiny little area. And the fire strike goes through with 1 little sidestep. You whiff. You blow your concussion mine, trying to get a little bit of damage in there. You get ganked by like a random Junkrat grenade, but that's going to happen. That's also what you're trying to do. So you know this game. Good patience, not throwing the rip tire out. I don't know what that concussion mine was, but it's all right. It's all good. All right, so right here, I would have played tire right there. So most everybody's dead. That's our Diva Bomb gets 1. Their Diva Bomb gets 2. Then their Junkrat tire comes in. We've got 2 on point. So we know that they at least have 2 players on the point. A Junkrat and a Diva. So if I'm you and I'm sitting right here, I'm going to throw tire up and over and down. And if I do that, I'm actually going to also get... Actually, no, I'd probably wait to throw it until about here. But right there... Throw some more grenades in. Survey the situation. You see Baby Diva. You see Diva's out of her mech. This is a huge moment for you. So you get Diva out of her mech. You're coming back down. Now what I'm doing in this situation, if I am you, is I am running. I am tucking over in here. I am throwing Rip Tire up, and I am dropping it down onto the point. Maybe over like here-ish. Which is going to kill this squishy and kill this squishy. And any squishies that are like coming out here, it's going to get them too. But instead, we move forward onto the point where we don't have to be. We get EMP'd. Look at this. Look at these. We would have gotten all 3 of these squishies if we dropped our tire right over here before. So again, this is a little different in organized play because I didn't call for it. I didn't call for a big combo. But that would have been a game-winning ultimate right there. And you get ganked, and you were the last person on the point. It's not a big deal. Kind of happens. EMP was big, so not a big deal. All right, setting up for the next fight. You've got your Rip Tire. You've held on to it for quite a while now, so if you don't use it in this fight, that's going to be on both of us. You probably would be like halfway to a new tire by now if you had used it like at the beginning of the last fight, the first time that I said something about pushing it up and over that first little platform there. This is good. Spam damage from above. You're bouncing the Diva out of position. That's great. Alright. Now, this is where I'd launch it. Right here. Right here. Oh, big missed opportunity. So that Reinhardt shatter, we know it got at least one person. Because we see Reinhardt's shield up, we see him, we see his health bar, and we saw him get hit by it. So we know at least the Reinhardt is down. When the at any time the Earth Shatter gets off and gets 2 or 3 people in it, unless told otherwise, launch it. Because that shatter is going to last just about as long as it takes for you to rip the cord on your rip tire. By the time they're getting up and scattering is about when the tire is going to be up and over them. You're going to have just enough time to get in and drop it. So in theory, what Sanchez should be doing is saying, I'm going to shatter here. Look for the shatter. That way, as soon as you hear the voice line go off, you can say in your head, okay, as soon as the Reinhardt's voice line goes off, I need to hit Q no matter what I'm doing. And we get down here. Yep, sure enough, there's a Tracer here, a Reinhardt here. There's one other person in here who I can't really see. And all 3 of those people would have gotten... Oh, no, sorry, that was Sanchez, not one of us. So it would have been a 2-person, probably. We get ripped. That's going to happen sometimes. Not a big deal. But so we've had a rip tire in for about 3 fights now. You've definitely held on to this for too long. In the case that you're sitting on rip tire for this long, even if I haven't called it out, you say, I've been holding on to rip tire for a while. I've got to use it in this next fight, and I will say yes, absolutely. I mean, unless the Zarya is like 60% to grav, you know what I mean? Like, unless we're gonna do something like that. But that Earth Shatter would have been a great wombo combo. And there were those 2 other places that would have been really good spots to use it. But in general, I like your positioning much better on point B here. Oh, kind of unlucky. So I'm going to actually point something out. This part is actually not your fault. So you're fighting with the team here. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Now you have Rip Tire, and I think probably what happened in the last fight is when the Earth Shatter didn't really work out, we said save your Rip Tire until the next fight. Would be my guess. So here I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, okay, this is actually pretty good positioning for you. You're behind your Reinhardt shield, which is exactly what you want to be doing. You want to be right behind this Reinhardt shield. You've got, only a small angle where they can actually get at you, and it's entirely covered by the Rein shield. You've got this little sliver of an area, but we're pretty sure nobody's off to that side, so it's actually not a huge deal that you're slightly exposed. And you're just firing grenades into the Reinhardt, and you're actually your AD strafing around this piece of natural cover, which is great. So because you are rotating back and forth around this thing, you're actually providing yourself with extra cover and extra safety. The problem is the whole team is standing in the choke while the Junkrat fires grenades in. And while you're standing there, our Reinhardt takes his shield down, and the D.Va's not defense matrixing, and we're in the choke, which is not entirely your fault. We were sort of waiting for 6, and they were holding inside the choke where they were taking a boatload of damage. It didn't really work out too well. But that's alright, it happens. It's not a big deal. Good try getting your... Oh, and good eyes there. That's an okay rip tire. It's a little unfortunate that Ejinx was right there on you. And it's a little unfortunate just in general. Like, it was kind of an unfortunate engagement for us. Even though you're on Junkrat, switching to like a soldier or something here just to help you get back to the point faster is a better move, because the more people that are on the point, the slower their respawns are going to be. So you actually do provide benefit just being a warm body. Good instincts not getting onto the point in a 1v5, but in an overtime situation you want to try to be on the point. But there was very little that you could do in the end there. It's all good. That's very minimal impact. In general, I liked a lot of the things that I saw. Or I liked a few of the things that I saw. The few of the things that I saw that I liked are things that you should repeat as much as humanly possible. Alright. Get set up here. This is not a great place for Junkrat to be set up down here on this low ground. So, where you're set up is a little suboptimal. This building up here, if you can getting on the roof of that using your concussion mine, that's kind of where you want to be. Being up there allows you to fire grenades down this way, and it obscures their line of sight to you because you've got natural cover on the lip of this thing. If you stand a little bit back, you're going to be partially obscured by the bottom of this thing, which is why high ground is so advantageous. So, in general, try to sit up on that position. There's actually a couple of boxes up there. I don't know if there's a good place to... Yeah. So there's actually not on this side, but on the other side, there's a box somewhere up here, like a transformer, that you can hide behind. But, I mean, holding down here is not terrible. Basically, you're doing the same job. You're just spamming grenades in. The problem is, and I'm just going to, even without knowing what was happening right now, what I'm going to assume happens is they're going to, what I would assume would happen is they're going to come charging in, and by the time they're on you, it's going to be too late. Just in general. I don't think it works out like that for the first couple of fights, but... Oh yeah, because they're symmetraing around. So this is a good rotation. Good try with the concussion mine for the kill. Good try. I like your thought process behind this. They're moving all the way around and in. This is actually great. So they've moved into a place where you can just absolutely hose them because you're just throwing grenades right up into their faces. And there's nothing they can do about it besides kill you. So as long as you... Oh, they killed you. So what I was going to say is this is going to work out great for you because as soon as they move down here, this is exactly where you want to be. Right behind the Reinhardt shield. If you're behind the Reinhardt shield and you throw grenades in this way, we win the shield war. You might not get any picks on this, but we win the shield war. And if we win the shield war, we win the game. Because General Dill is playing Zarya, and he can throw right clicks in here. And our other DPS can throw some damage in here as well. But because you're playing not with your Reinhardt and you're playing so aggressively, notice how you move forward, Dill's in front of you, but now nobody's in front of you. And nobody's in front of you for about a quarter of a second, and you die. Yep. Because remember, you only have 200 health, and you weren't even at full health when you started that. Or, sorry, I guess General Dill's not playing Zarya, but still. Look at me popping off. Feels good. So we called for a hard reset. That's good. Also, notice if you had stood up here for that last fight, when they came up through this high ground and went all the way around and all the way around, and even when they went down into this room, you up here had routes to fire grenades at them the whole way. And you wouldn't have had to move at all. There would have been no rotation necessary. And when you could have hid around this box the entire time. So that's another reason why that position is kind of strong. Perfect. This is exactly where you want to be. This is exactly where you want to be. You're firing grenades over here. But you'll notice that there's a big red Reinhardt shield over here. So I'll see if you adjust here in it as soon as you see it. But, yep, you saw it. So, granted, that was a Symmetra teleporter. It's kind of hard to see. But look, you've got free reign over all of them. There's nothing that they can do about it. Good bounce on the Hog. A little unfortunate that he had his ultimate, I think. Oh, he's up there again. Did you notice that there was an Ana that slipped around? I don't know why you dropped off high ground there. If you had been on high ground there, you wouldn't die right here, which is what I'm assuming is going to happen. Yep. So this Symmetra barrier is something that you can't fire grenades through. And so when you dropped down off the high ground, you gave up any ability to deal any damage to them, and also you gave up a position of safety to keep yourself alive until the barrier fell down. Rip tires, however, can go through the barrier. They can drive through the barrier. So if a Symmetra barrier goes up and you have your rip tire and they're all grouped up on the same side of the barrier, just throw your rip tire in there and get them for a nice easy peasy squash. This is also a pretty good position. The thing that I like about this position is they have a Pharah. So the Pharah is going to have to stop paying attention to the whole team to fire at you, which she's not going to do. This is an okay tire. I like this tire route. This is a great tire route, right up until that point. And you made it all the way to the Reinhardt. Cool. So what I would have done here is thrown out this rip tire. I would have tucked away a little bit more, but that's okay. And now, instead of going out this way, I would have come up and over this truck, or around the truck. We had 8 seconds. We probably could have made it all the way through and around, but that's just how it is. But do you notice how you went up through main and the Roadhog already got 2 shots on you and your thing is down to 1 HP down here? You're lucky you made it all the way over. If there had been a Moira ball or something that deals damage. Oh, see, that was great positioning, and I don't know if you fell down or if you wanted to move down, but you gave up a great position right there. It's a good trap. Helps your team out when they're trying to retreat, which is always nice. Alright, so right there, we're in a barrel. Notice how this Pharah... I'll pause it when she pops up over. This Pharah up here is going to fire 2 rockets straight down into you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. She misses you with the 2nd and 3rd. And it's not your job to deal with her. But if, for example, you were still over in this high ground position over here, or even up on here where you could hide behind the box, you're in a much stronger position to not take the Pharah damage that you took. Gonna take a little bit more here, I'm guessing. Yep. 1, 2. Now remember, your job is not to do anything to the Pharah. Your job is to bust those tanks up. You're destroying that Reinhardt shield and crunching damage. Oh, perfect. Great trap. That trap placement was excellent. Alright, you got flanked. That happens. You would have been safer on the high ground, and you would have been safer on the center high ground. But it happens. It's not a big deal. By the time you were on the point, there was very little point in using your concussive mine to get back up onto the high ground, because they could have just ganked you. Especially that Pharah. Now, here's another thing. So you've already left your Reinhardt way behind. He is way in the dust back there, and you are very far forward. and you're not even firing grenades really. You're going for a trap at the entrance, which doesn't really help you. A trap either here or here or here or over here on these edges of the point is very helpful, as well as one on the upper high ground up here and the upper high ground up here, to give you anybody who's on the high ground, who's on the center rail behind, like your Ana or whatever soldier, a clue that there's a flanker coming up. But you made it back to the team. You lived. All worked out fine. They blew up your trap immediately. I would stick with your Reinhardt and throw a trap as soon as you see the charge. Alright, you got bounced out. No biggie. This is a good position for you to be in. There's no reason to... I was about to say there's no reason to jump down here. But you did. No biggie. At the end of this fight, I think is when Dylan mentioned to you about staying up on the high ground. And I'm seeing why now in this portion of the video. Firing through that window is great. It helps zone out that high ground. Firing down that center area doesn't usually end up doing much. You got lucky. It happened to work out that time. I would have kept firing grenades up in there because that was the point where I yelled out that there was a tracer up there. Good attempt on the concussive mine. That's generally what you want to do. Can't win them all. This Riptire's okay. That was not very good timing on blowing it up, though. I am gonna call it. I'm gonna call this for now. I don't know much about Busan, so I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not as keen on Busan the map. I am gonna do one thing though here because I want to show you what I saw. Assault, Volskaya. All right. So here's Volskaya. Nope. That. How do I move? Oh. Okay. It's a simple right click. All right. So on Volskaya, on defense, when you are playing JRAT, your positioning should be here. That's the most powerful place that you can be. If you're not going to be here, you need to be in here on this high ground. You can also be in here. It's very unsafe. Or you can hold very far back here. But generally, you just want to be here, and you want to play around this high ground. No problem. The reason that you want to do this is that you have... You can fire grenades this way. You can fire them into here. You kill off this whole zone, and you kill off this whole zone. You control the whole choke from up here, and you have natural barrier. You can also fire grenades over there. Can drop them down over here. You control this whole area as well. control this whole front area. You control this whole area. You control this whole area. You control in here. You control the whole point. And that's the area you control with junk from that position. Plus, sure. Plus, if they come up at you from this high ground, you can play around here. You can drop down. You can drop back to this fat health pack room over here. It's a good place, and come up through and fight from up here. In which case, you can still lob grenades down in the whole point, as well as up in through here and around the back. Just a very strong place to be is right here for Junkrat. On point B, your strong positions are here. And actually here is probably your best bet. So the reason why here is really good is because, again, here's your line of control. You get that entryway, and this high ground. So these are the three main ways to attack. Now, yes, teams can catch a ride this way, but they don't often do that. And if they do, you'll actually be in a position to see it because you, from this position, can see out this window, and by tilting, you can actually see out this window as well. Plus, you can turn around and see it back here. So you can lay a trap here, and here, and or there, I should say. You can lay traps in one of those places, which will help you figure out if somebody's over there. But generally, you want to lay your trap either here, or sorry, you want to lay it here or over here, somewhere in this area, because you're usually going to have an Ana or a soldier hanging out here, and if a flanker comes up, like an enemy Genji's coming up this way, or maybe an enemy tracer is coming around this side, like, those are going to be good things you want to get trapped. If this position is untenable, if, say, they have, like, a Hanzo, and their Hanzo is firing arrows into your face, then you can move back to this position. In this position, you can hang out left or right. You still have control over the whole point and this main entryway. If you're here, you have control here. And if you're there, you have control over here. Meanwhile, there's little pieces of hard cover right here for you to hide behind and lob grenades over, which are great. And from this angle, you can actually still lob grenades over at this high ground if you need to. And controlling this entryway also controls this entrance and this entrance. So that's sort of where you want to be in terms of that map. But when you were standing on the high ground, when you were making good choices, mechanically you were able to get there. It just the team playing was a little rough. And that probably comes from lack of practice, which we are going to be rectifying coming up here. But in general, not bad. Except without saving. In general, not bad. So yeah, let me know if you found this helpful. If you did not find it helpful, then maybe I'm not the person to be helping you. And if you want help with Junkrat on any other map or on any other hero, you can always ask me, or you can talk to some of the other guys. Shaka Khan has mentioned that he wants to do reviews. Tingly Daffodil has as well. Tingly Daffodil and Shaka Khan are both very good players. So yeah, in general, not bad. You had some big big potentiality moments, I'll call them. And if you stay in the good positions and maintain that good game sense discipline, I think you're going to have a lot of success. All right, thanks, buddy. I'll see you in your practice.